So in some of my previous videos, people have commented about my X storage racks that I kind of have on the back of the bench. So I have this French cleat wall set up, which is basically, if you're not familiar with it, this is a good example. It's basically just a, sections of board that are cut at a 45, so that way when they meet up, you've got this portion mounted to the wall, and this portion mounted to the back of your tool holder. They just nest like that. So you can see kind of on this little Stanley utility knife storage rack, a couple of 299s and a 199. It just kind of nests in there. So I made holders to hold, racks to hold my loose heads. Well, I've since filled all of the available space on these and need to make more. Logical person would probably say get rid of some heads, but there's not a lot of logic in collecting this many, so we've already foregone that, and we're gonna make more storage. Basically what I do is, or have done, is just get some thin-walled steel piping. It's just nothing, there's nothing fancy about it. It's just, these were sections of leftover from a baby gate that I took apart because the latch on it broke. So once the latch was broken, it was kind of useless. But they came coated in this kind of like white powder coating or paint. You can kind of see here, this is like the extension for whatever, but this is just thin-walled steel tubing. 3/8 outside diameter. So it's nice that you can just drill a 3/8 hole and then drive these in with just friction fit. I don't glue it in, I don't epoxy it, none of that. I haven't had any issues with it. Now the hangers on the back of the wall are old pieces of oak flooring that I got out of a barn on my parents' property. This right here that I plan on using is cedar. Now I think this will actually work better than the oak, and this is why. The cedar should compress a little bit. There's a couple places where when I was driving these in, because the friction fit was so tight, that I ended up cracking the oak just a little bit. It never spread even with all the weight of the axes on the head, or the heads on the hanger. But my guess is this will compress a little bit better, being a softer wood. So we can hopefully not crack anything. Now I've done a little bit of math. Move these aside. And I think that I should be able to lay out roughly 4 heads side by side. Now the spacing I've got on the rack on the back of the bench is a little wider. And that's fine. But here I'm kind of trying to maximize space because I've clearly got an addiction, so and justifying it however I need to. I think we've got enough room where we can fit 4 heads on this board width-wise. Obviously, you got to leave room for a little bit of mushrooming and wiggle room, or just variance in axe head width. But I think 4 is doable here. We'll put our newly used or newly freshened up tape measure to use. I'm not sure how. I just released this video today, so still not sure exactly how well it's going to do, but I enjoyed doing the video, so I don't mind. So we are 5.5 inches wide. So basically, we're going to divide that by 4, right? Because we got 4 heads. And then once those sections are, quartered up, this board's quartered up, you're going to divide that again in half, so you divide it by 8 to start, and then you'll get your measurement for each one of those pin locations, or dowel locations, pegs, whatever you want to call them. So another trick if you want to be lazy with math is just get a piece of paper, cardboard, and cut it the same width as your board. And since we want this essentially divided into 8 equal pieces, you just fold it. So first, we got 2 pieces, 4 pieces, 8 pieces. And this width should roughly be, again, it's not exact. You can measure it out with calipers, depending on how precise you want to get it, but this is a quick and dirty shop project. We're not getting that exact with it. And you should be roughly the 1/8 width of that. And the nice thing about it is when you have this whole thing laid out, you can just lay this out, and every other one of your creases is going to be an accent location, right? So we've got one here, and we got one, skip that one, and then place one here, skip that one, place one here, skip that one, place one here. And then we roughly have, four spots for where we're, drilling our holes. And with using this, we can use this to, lay out the spacing and kind of create like a, if you're familiar with woodworking, some people call it a story stick, but this would be a story paper. So, yeah. Try to make it easier on yourself. Shop projects are supposed to be fun. So I'll say to start, we go down 1 inch. Then our first line is going to be at 8 inches. If you've seen me use this in previous videos, it's one that I had made years ago. So this is just a stainless steel rod. I actually bought it for handles on knife pins. But made a few knives, but nothing, not too many of them. I'd like to get back into it someday, but all right. Anyways, I made that with some stacked leather and some walnut. So if you're curious about that, now you got the information. So mark that out. Trying not to stab myself with it. And then I should be able to just do this for the next ones. Yeah, this is not precise woodworking. It's a rough and dirty rack to hold axe heads. So, but you could take this concept and make it as pretty as you want. You get some nice, brass tubing or copper tubing, and get it looking all fancy. So this should keep some, store some of our excess storage. 12 heads. It's not bad. Probably have more than 12 heads, but maybe I'll make another video after that, I guess. I don't know. I do not have 12 of these spare pins from the last time I made it. So, looks like we're going to be firing up the torch and making some more pins. Now the goal here is to just get the paint off and not set the shop on fire. All right, nothing's on fire, so we're going to consider that a success for now, at least. So by now, the first one feels cool enough to the touch. Joey, I think it was you that commented in one of the videos how the shop is nice and clean. That is the cleaner workbench. This is the dirtier one, which pretty much the only thing that I use on here is my drill press. And I think what I'd like to do is actually tear this workbench down, make a smaller stand just for the drill press, and put a big axe rack here. So maybe that'll be a future video if you guys think that'd be interesting, like a rack for the ones that have the handles on them. So the previous sections of pipe were, you can see here, they were roughly, okay, so 4 1/4. So just to keep things consistent, we're going to cut the new ones at 4 1/4. I don't remember why I picked 4 1/4 before, but I did. So we're going to stick with it. One of the things that I did to help me with this is I just chuck the pipe up in the drill. So that way once I get it set to the right size here in the vise, I can just spin it here while gradually tensioning the pipe cutter. So we now have way more studs, posts, pegs, whatever you want to call them, than we need. You probably can't hear me over that. So we've got way more than we need. That's fine. I'm sure I'll make another rack at some point and they will get used up. If you're curious, yes, I do occasionally actually use my drill press for a drill press, not just a buffer and a wire wheel. So you can drill things too. I know the speed is set up way too fast for wood. I've got it set up for buffing and wire wheeling, so I'm just gonna have to deal with it. Next thing is really to just drive those pegs in. I'm going to sand it quick just because it's got some surface scuffs and stuff on it. And just to get rid of some of those little burrs. You got to resist the urge. It's not a nail. Don't drive it all the way until it stops, you know. And now, when I was looking online on Amazon, this is just 3/8, you know, thin wall steel tubing. I'm pretty sure I saw Amazon selling it as fuel line for something. I think it was fuel line. I don't think it was brake line. I think fuel line for something. So you might even be able to go to a place that does fuel lines or something like that and get scraps or cutoffs, or just buy the 3-foot sections on Amazon. I mean, I know they're really pretty affordable for you know how many pegs you're getting out of even just a 3-foot section. So yeah, because I guarantee you, buying a baby gate and dismantling it is not the cheapest way to go. The only reason I'm doing this is because it was scrap and laying around, and I'm a bit of a pack rat, so. And so, because this project is not, you know, super fancy or anything, we're just gonna take it over to the bandsaw and. Actually, I'm just gonna use the Japanese saw. It's one cut. All right, so we got our section. Yeah, we're gonna go from the back because it's easier, and we are gonna do 3 of them because they are small drywall screws, and they probably don't have the best shear strength. And if you're wondering why I'm not drilling right in the center of that board, it's because I'm trying to drill in the center of where this portion actually contacts the second board. All right, and basically we are done. Now, if you don't have a whole French cleat wall set up, what I would recommend is you can still use a French cleat system without having a whole wall. Just, you know, take a really any size piece of wood. Just know that this is going to be your standoff away from the wall, and just run it down a table saw or even 45, or router or 45 on it. So you've got 2, you know, equal 45s that are going to, you know, lock in like that. But if you don't, just put another piece of backer board here. It's going to want to, you know, twist. So just have the same board, the equal thickness, set up towards the bottom so that it'll sit nice and secure. But if you have a French cleat wall, you've got the opposing cleats, you know, spaced out at whatever increments you want, so you don't have to worry about that. So in this case, I am going to put it up on my my wall here, so I am not going to worry about it. But just a tip, try to help you out. So because this is fairly, you know, light blonde wood, I think I'm going to use my axe oil on it, which is just a mixture of boiled linseed oil, pine tar, and turpentine. I think it's roughly equal proportions, but I think it's a little heavier on the boiled linseed oil and turpentine, just because the pine tar just makes it so thick. But yeah, add a little bit of color to it. This does take a little bit longer to cure, but it doesn't really matter because it's not being handled, so. And if you're trying to go real fancy with this, you could find some like probably 3/8 like stainless line or something like that. That would definitely work. Obviously, stainless is always going to be more expensive than you know, just plain steel, but it definitely look cool, and you wouldn't have to worry about it rusting. Probably just give a quick coat of these with the oil too. All right, so now the only thing left to do is make room on the French cleat wall. Got these tool racks, well, little parts bins here. I use the one on the right-hand side of the bench fairly often. I don't really, this one's kind of like more overflow storage. I like it. It's really handy, but it doesn't need to be right here in this accessible right now. So I'm thinking of moving that out of the way. Hanging this rack up here and getting some more storage, at least at the bench, which is probably a little more pleasant to look at too. Because if you're here, you probably like axes. Well, there it is. The only downside to it being up so high is I'm gonna have to use a ladder to put the axes on the heads on the top at least. Maybe we'll throw ones up there that I don't plan on doing anything with anytime soon. So all right, so as we go, the rack will fill up. We've opened up some more spots on the lower rack. That's perfectly fine because I've got heads that need to get taken off of handles or handle remnants. A little sneak peek, it'll be in one of the Follow Me Home videos, but got another Plum Connie that came in. So again, once that eye gets cleared out, that'll need a home. So yeah, so thank you for watching, everyone. Hopefully this helped. If you were curious on building a rack, you can kind of see the design of the other ones. Really similar construction. They're just horizontal, not vertical. So yeah, making a vertical one solves some issues that I had to kind of figure out how to fix with the horizontal ones. No, I'm too vague right now. So if you're curious of what that is, because I was talking about before, it wasn't supported across at least 2 French cleats. The racks want to twist, so I just had to put screws in the back to prevent them from twisting. So if you make a French cleat wall and you're making some kind of rack, just make sure it spans at least 2 French cleats, so that way it's not going to want to twist. So, all right. Thank you for watching, everyone. Enjoy. And let me know what you use for your axe storage solutions, because clearly I'm running out of room here.